we were going to talk ages ago about Junior Johnson and his impact on your career, and you're a bit of American, a bit of it back to America for a bit.
Yeah, well, Junior was I'd met through Robin Best because Robin bought all his cars off Junior Johnson, and he's he's someone who never ran for a NASCAR championship. He won a lot of races, but he never ran a full season. So if he had of, he'd probably be considered one of the greatest ever. You only got to look at his stats of how many races he raced and how many he won to realise that he was a real force. Yeah, he brought a lot into it. He really brought a lot of the big sponsors in. He was the guy who put Earnhardt with Childress.
Yeah,
he did a lot of in NASCAR, and he was such a normal person. He's like Elvis in America. Like people in Australia who think Elvis Presley is famous. In America, Junior Johnson is just as famous as Elvis Presley. Like there's a movie made about him called The Last American Hero.
Yeah, right.
Jeff Bridges plays Junior Johnson.
Yeah, okay.
So the timeline is wrong in the movie, of when he raced and stuff, but the story's pretty accurate, and it's a pretty good movie. You should check it out.
Yeah, well.
But so he's incredibly famous, but he's also so normal that he had breakfast every weekday at his house from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. For anyone who wanted to turn up. Anyone could just turn up at his house and he cooked them breakfast.
Awesome.
So can you imagine doing that for Jimmy Barnes or fucking Dick Johnson or fucking someone in Australia who's famous?
Didn't he help you out with like a little book that you needed? You were over there and you needed some parts or something.
No, I needed a phone number. But I just finished on the breakfast thing. I remember being there one day and some grey nomads pulled up in their camper, and they were coming. They'd heard this rumor, but no one ever thought it was true.
Yeah,
and they just pulled up and came in, and they would. And here's Junior cooking breakfast.
Yeah,
and you'd go there, and there'd always be a half a dozen people, and the reason that he wasn't swamped was because people didn't believe it was true. They didn't believe you could just turn up at Junior Johnson's house and he was going to cook you a feed. And, so I wanted Jeff Hammond's phone number. And anyone who doesn't know, Jeff Hammond's a NASCAR commentator. He was Darrell Waltrip's crew chief, worked for Junior Johnson. He's a very high-profile person in the sport. And he's one of those people that are pretty untouchable. He's so well-known. He's not someone you can just reach out to. So what happened was Robin Best had bought a lot of cars off Junior. And one of the cars that Robin bought was the car that Darrell Waltrip won the very first All-Star racing.
Yeah.
And when Darrell won it, he blew the engine up crossing the start-finish line so they couldn't check the engine. And the car was a real cheater. So NASCAR told Junior never to bring it back to race.
Yeah.
So he sold that car to Robin, and Robin won the first Australian championship in it. And Neil Bonnet, who won that very first race in Australia, actually said in the drivers' meeting that Robin had the best car here. So that was the connection. So what happened was Robin wanted to restore that car, and I needed to get a letter of authenticity off Junior Johnson, a letter of authenticity off Darrell Waltrip, and a letter off Jeff Hammond. And I wanted Jeff Hammond to look at some of the details of the car so he could write that letter to say it was the car. So I said to Junior Johnson, I said, mate, any chance I could get Jeff Hammond's phone number? And he said, over on my desk, there's a scribble pad. His number's written on that scribble pad somewhere. Like real matter of fact, And, I dare you to try and get Jeff Hammond's phone number. You fucking won't. You just can't do it. So I go over there and I sit at Junior Johnson's desk, and literally fucking everyone's phone numbers on his scribble pad. Everyone who's anyone in motorsport, every fucking driver, every fucking team owner, Hendrick, Childress, all of Tony Stewart, everyone's fucking phone number is written on his fucking scribble pad.
Yeah.
they're all there.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit shocked, and I'm thinking about writing everyone's number down. But in the end, I only take Jeff's number.
Yeah.
But that's how Junior was. Like it wasn't important. These people who are so famous aren't. They're just people.
Yeah.
So that was his attitude. And we went to dinner once in Bristol. We went to the March race at Bristol, and we had a table, and we're having a really nice dinner. And a fan came over with one of his friends, saw us sitting there, and wanted to, obviously say hello to Junior. And he said, "Excuse me, sir, can I say hello?" And Junior's like, "Yeah." Said hello. He said, "Can I ask you a question?" And Junior said, "By all means." And this guy goes, "Who was the best driver who you ever had drive your cars?" And Junior, without batting an eyelid, just looked at him and said, "I was. I was the best driver who ever drove one of my cars." And everyone just laughed. And then Junior said, "But besides me, the best driver who ever drove one of my cars, and in my opinion, the best driver to ever drive a stock car is Darrell Waltrip."
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty fucking incredible statement, considering the people who Junior had in his cars.
Yeah.
To openly say that Darrell Waltrip, in his mind, is the greatest driver to ever drive a stock car.